In this chaotic world, it's becoming increasingly difficult to find solace and quiet moments of peace. The relentless noise, the uninvited opinions, the overwhelming social media updates, they all seep into every corner of our lives. In a time when privacy is under siege and every piece of personal information is just a click away, we must learn to guard our peace more fiercely than ever before. How much of your life do you actually need to share with others? Are you truly comfortable with letting the world peek into your most vulnerable spaces? What would it be like to reclaim control over your own existence, free from the constant prying eyes and unsolicited advice of others? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves if we truly wish to live on our own terms. In an era where everything is overexposed, where every decision and detail is shared for the public to scrutinize, we've lost sight of what it means to truly live privately. Social media, while connecting us, also exposes us to a world that demands more than we should give. It's as if we are living under a microscope, constantly monitored by both friends and strangers. And let me ask you, when was the last time you felt like you could simply breathe without the world intruding? The price of being seen on every platform comes at a cost. Our peace, our joy, and sometimes even our sanity. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. You don't need to share every achievement, every relationship, or every struggle with the world. The truth is, keeping certain parts of your life private is not only healthy, it's essential. Privacy allows you to breathe freely, to think clearly, and to feel secure in who you are. It shields you from unnecessary judgment, uninvited opinions, and the endless pressures that come with the expectation of always being on display. But why is it so difficult for many to draw this boundary? It's because over time, we've become conditioned to believe that sharing is the ultimate form of connection. But is it really? Let's take a moment to reflect on our daily habits. How many times have you found yourself scrolling endlessly through others' lives, comparing your reality to their curated version of success? How often do you check your phone waiting for likes, comments, or validation? Do you feel the need to present an image of constant happiness and accomplishment? These actions can quickly turn into a trap, draining you of your energy and distracting you from the deeper and more meaningful aspects of life. The more you reveal, the more others feel entitled to comment, judge, or give unsolicited advice. Have you noticed how, despite the connectedness, many feel lonelier than ever before? Guarding your privacy doesn't mean you become a recluse. It means you're consciously choosing where to invest your time and energy. You're selecting who gets access to your life and deciding how much of it is available to the world. People will always have opinions. They will judge you based on what they know, or worse, based on what they don't know. But you have the power to decide how much of your personal life you want to share with the world. By keeping certain things to yourself, you are creating a sanctuary for your mind and spirit, allowing you to grow in ways that are authentic to you. It's interesting how we often think that sharing every detail about ourselves builds connections. But in reality, it can have the opposite effect. We become overwhelmed with the weight of the expectations placed upon us. We might feel trapped, unable to escape the constant barrage of comments, feedback, and demands. The more we expose ourselves to the outside world, the less we are able to protect our internal world. So ask yourself, how much of your life is really yours, and how much have you allowed others to dictate? It's time to reassess the balance. Psychologically, when we give too much away, we often begin to lose touch with ourselves. We may become unsure of where our true desires end and where the opinions of others begin. In this sense, privacy becomes a form of mental protection. It's a necessary boundary to preserve your sense of self, your emotions, and your peace. Without it, you risk becoming so entangled in the opinions and judgments of others that you lose sight of what makes you uniquely you. Privacy isn't about hiding. It's about creating a safe space where you can nurture your soul and grow without interference. The desire for privacy is not an act of rebellion or withdrawal, but a natural response to the overwhelming demands of modern life. We live in a world where the noise never stops, where information floods us from all directions. But we must ask ourselves, how much of this information do we truly need? How much of this noise is helping us become better versions of ourselves? The key to preserving our peace lies in selectively choosing what we let into our lives and what we keep out. We must be the gatekeepers of our own minds. Privacy also plays a key role in protecting our peace of mind. When we are constantly exposed, we are vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of others. People feel entitled to comment on our choices, our appearances, and our lifestyles. But the truth is, their opinions do not define us. The only person whose judgment truly matters is your own. By guarding your privacy, you are not just protecting your physical boundaries, but your emotional well-being as well. You are claiming ownership over your peace. Let's talk about the importance of emotional security for a moment. We live in a world where people feel pressure to be open, vulnerable, and transparent at all times. But while being open is important, there is a fine line between sharing and oversharing. When we reveal too much about ourselves, especially to people who don't have our best interests at heart, we open the door to emotional manipulation, criticism, and sometimes even exploitation. The solution: guard your peace by guarding your privacy. The more you reveal, the less control you have over how others perceive you. By keeping your life private, you maintain emotional independence, enabling you to preserve your peace and clarity in an often chaotic world. Let's begin by looking at something crucial: the need for boundaries in our lives. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect us from the world around us. They define where we end and where others begin. When we fail to set boundaries, we open ourselves up to manipulation, emotional exhaustion, and overwhelming stress. And yet, in today's world, many of us are taught to be open, to share, to connect at all costs. But at what price? The truth is, without boundaries, we are essentially inviting chaos into our lives. And this is precisely why we need to learn how to guard our peace. How can we protect our inner calm if we allow everyone and everything to have access to our most personal thoughts and emotions? Think about the pressure to share every moment of your life, whether it's posting a picture of your dinner, your workout, or your weekend plans. There is a constant underlying message that you must share to be seen, to be validated. But what happens when you share too much? You lose the ability to control your narrative. The world starts dictating how you should feel, what you should do, and even how you should look. The more you expose yourself, the more others will feel entitled to weigh in on your choices. What would it feel like to simply take a step back, to stop letting others define your life, and to regain control over your personal space? Keeping your life private is about maintaining a sense of autonomy over your decisions. It's about having the freedom to live according to your own values and beliefs, without the constant interference of others. When you share too much, you may find yourself bending to the will of the world, sacrificing your peace just to please others or seek external approval. By guarding your peace, you're allowing yourself to live on your own terms. Imagine how liberating that would feel. No more striving to meet the expectations of people who don't truly understand you. No more trying to measure up to a fabricated standard of success. Instead, you can breathe freely and live in alignment with your true self. Our emotions are fragile. We often open up to others thinking that they will understand and support us. But how many times have we shared something personal, only to be met with judgment, criticism, or advice we didn't ask for? Emotional vulnerability, while necessary at times, can also leave us exposed to hurt and disappointment. The more we share, the more we risk being misunderstood. We open the door for people to project their own insecurities, biases, and agendas onto us. This is why privacy is so important. It shields us from the emotional fallout that often comes with oversharing. When you guard your privacy, you protect your emotional well-being, creating a space where you can heal, reflect, and grow without fear of judgment. Think of the energy it takes to constantly monitor your life and interactions online. Every post, every comment, every like, it demands your attention. But here's the kicker. The more energy we invest in seeking validation from others, the less we have for ourselves. We start living for the approval of others instead of for our own fulfillment. Is that the kind of life you want to lead? A life driven by external validation rather than internal peace? By keeping parts of your life private, you are reclaiming that energy. You are choosing to invest in your personal growth and happiness, rather than in the fleeting opinions of the outside world. But let's face it, it's hard to resist the temptation to share, isn't it? It feels good to get likes, to be seen, to feel that connection with others. But when we allow ourselves to be swept up in this cycle, we forget something crucial. We are not obligated to share everything. You have every right to keep certain aspects of your life for yourself. This right is not only essential for protecting your peace, but it also empowers you to stay grounded in who you truly are. Remember, the most powerful people are often the ones who operate in silence, who choose not to broadcast every move they make. They understand that their true power lies in their ability to maintain control over their private lives. Consider the psychological effects of living under constant scrutiny. Social media has created an environment where people feel the need to present a curated version of their lives. Always smiling, always achieving, always thriving. But we all know that this is not reality. Behind every perfect post there is a hidden struggle, a moment of doubt, or a personal challenge that is never shown. By constantly exposing ourselves to the public eye, we are forced to live inauthentic lives, pretending to be something we are not, and this in turn can erode our mental health. Anxiety, depression, and stress all thrive in an environment where we feel constantly judged or measured against unrealistic standards. Privacy acts as a shield, protecting our emotional health and allowing us to exist freely without the pressure to perform for the world. It's important to remember that we don't owe anyone an explanation for why we choose to keep our lives private. There is nothing selfish or wrong about wanting to protect your peace. In fact, it's necessary for your well-being. Your life is your own, and you have the right to decide what parts of it you want to share with the world. The more you guard your privacy, the more you empower yourself to live authentically. You get to define what success, happiness, and peace look like for you. Not the world, not social media, and certainly not anyone else's expectations. Now think about the idea of emotional independence. When you expose yourself to the public in every way, you risk losing this independence. You allow others to influence your emotions, your thoughts, and your actions. When you keep certain aspects of your life private, however, you preserve your emotional autonomy. You are less likely to be swayed by external opinions and more likely to stay true to yourself. This independence is what allows you to live a life that is genuinely yours, rather than one dictated by the expectations of others. So ask yourself, do you want to live for you or do you want to live for everyone else? The choice is yours. Remember, peace is not something you find outside of yourself, it's something that comes from within. And it starts by guarding your privacy. By keeping your life private, you create a sanctuary for your mind, your soul, and your emotions. It's time to protect what matters most, your inner peace. You owe it to yourself to guard it fiercely. The world will try to take it from you, but only if you allow it. Reclaim your power, reclaim your peace, and reclaim your life. We live in a world that constantly demands more from us. More time, more energy, more transparency. We're expected to share everything, to open up, to be available at all hours. And yet, how many of us feel truly seen or understood? The more we expose, the less we retain. The more we give, the less we have for ourselves. It's like standing in a storm, giving your energy to everyone around you, yet finding yourself drenched and empty, with nothing left to weather the storm for your own peace. This is why it's essential to guard your privacy and preserve your peace. It's a shield that helps you navigate through the chaos of modern life. But here's the catch. Guarding your privacy isn't just about protecting what you share, it's also about protecting what you withhold. Think about the constant pressures that come with being an open book. On one hand, sharing personal details may make us feel connected, but on the other hand, it often opens doors to unwanted opinions and judgments. You've probably felt the weight of those unsolicited comments, haven't you? People often think they have the right to tell you how to live, what to wear, who to love, or even how to think. The truth is, you don't have to let anyone's opinions define you. When you choose to keep parts of your life private, you are telling the world that your worth isn't for sale, and it isn't for public scrutiny. You are protecting your sense of self from the endless parade of judgments that are thrown your way every day. And yet there's a subtle trap that many of us fall into. The fear of missing out, the desire to be accepted, to be liked, or to be part of a group. Social media has amplified this pressure, making us feel as if we have to put everything out there to be included. But consider this. Every time you share a part of yourself online, you give a piece of your power away. You allow others to define how they see you, to judge your choices, and to comment on your life. But when you guard your peace by keeping parts of your life private, you take back that power. You keep your autonomy. And more importantly, you protect your mental and emotional well-being. Have you ever had that sinking feeling after sharing something personal online? Maybe you felt the weight of the comments, the likes, the reactions, wondering how people would interpret what you said. Or maybe you felt overwhelmed by the unsolicited advice or criticism that came pouring in afterward. That's because once you share something, you lose control over how it's perceived. In the past, your life was yours to live. Now, It's under the scrutiny of everyone who feels entitled to offer an opinion. This is why privacy is more than just a luxury, it's a necessity. When you keep your life private, you take back the power to define your own narrative. You are the author of your story, not the people who want to read it and comment on every page. It's a human need to be seen, to be acknowledged, to feel like we matter. But in the pursuit of external validation, we risk losing touch with what truly matters, our internal peace. Imagine living in a space where you don't need approval to be happy. Imagine a life where your worth isn't determined by how many people like your post, how many followers you have, or how often you appear perfect to the world. This is what guarding your privacy allows you to create. A life where you are in control, where you are enough just as you are, without the constant pressure to perform or please. Your peace isn't for sale. It's something that is cultivated internally. And it's something that can't be stolen by the opinions of others. When we talk about guarding our peace, it's also about understanding the emotional cost of being constantly exposed. We are vulnerable beings, and vulnerability, when shared with the wrong people or in the wrong spaces, can leave us feeling emotionally drained and fragile. Every time we expose ourselves too much to others, we risk emotional depletion. This is why keeping certain parts of our lives private isn't just an act of self-preservation. It's an act of emotional intelligence. It's recognizing that not every moment, feeling, or experience needs to be shared in order to feel valid. Some things are simply too precious, too sacred to expose to the world. They need to remain in the sanctuary of your inner peace. The truth is, life can be overwhelming. We are bombarded with information, opinions, and expectations from all directions. If we're not careful, it can feel like there's no room left for ourselves. So how do we reclaim that space? By keeping parts of our lives private, we are actively choosing to carve out time and energy for what truly matters. Our own mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We are deciding to keep certain things sacred, to protect them from the world's prying eyes, and to preserve the peace that we need to stay grounded. And let's not forget the power of silence. In a world that constantly demands noise, stillness is a form of rebellion. The quieter you become, the more you allow yourself to hear your own voice, free from the clutter of external distractions. By keeping your life private, you create a space where silence can thrive, where you can reflect, recharge, and reconnect with your innermost desires and goals. It's in this quiet space that true clarity is born. Without the pressure to share everything with the world, you are free to listen to your own heart, to trust your own instincts, and to make decisions that are in alignment with your authentic self. Guarding your peace also involves recognizing the importance of emotional boundaries. Just as physical boundaries protect our personal space, emotional boundaries protect our heart. When we share too much with others, especially with people who don't have our best interests at heart, we risk emotional vulnerability. Unsolicited opinions, harsh judgments, or manipulative behavior can harm us in ways that are not always visible. But when we keep parts of our lives private, we create a barrier that prevents others from violating our emotional space. This is why privacy is not just a right, it's a form of self-respect. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what parts of your life are you ready to protect? What aspects of your peace are worth guarding? The power to decide what you share and what you keep private is in your hands. Don't let the noise of the world drown out your inner peace. The more you guard it, the more you will find yourself living a life that is authentically yours. A life defined by your own choices, not by the demands of others. Remember, peace isn't found in the approval of others. It's found within you. Guard it with everything you've got. When we think about privacy, we often imagine keeping things hidden, but in reality, privacy is about maintaining control. It's about choosing what aspects of your life deserve attention and which parts remain solely yours. It's about creating a space where your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are respected and protected, rather than exposed for the world to comment on. Think about how exhausting it is to constantly worry about how others perceive you, whether it's in person or online. The pressure to always present yourself in a certain way can be overwhelming, but privacy offers a powerful antidote. It gives you the freedom to decide what's important to share, and just as importantly, what's not. In this age of hyperconnectivity, the temptation to overshare is always present. We're encouraged to post, tweet, and update our lives in real time. But the more we share, the more we expose ourselves to the judgment of others. Have you ever posted something and immediately regretted it? The rush of sharing something personal with the hope of connection can quickly turn into a feeling of vulnerability, exposure, and sometimes even shame. This is why it's so vital to protect your inner world, your private thoughts, and your emotional landscape. By doing so, you maintain control over your life, ensuring that your peace is never compromised by external influences. Let's also talk about how easy it is to get caught in the cycle of comparison. Social media platforms are filled with perfect lives, filtered faces, and highlights that don't tell the whole story. But in seeing these carefully curated versions of reality, we often find ourselves questioning our own lives. Are we doing enough? Are we good enough? Privacy helps shield us from this toxic comparison game. When we stop sharing every little detail and instead focus on the present moment and our personal growth, we free ourselves from the trap of comparing our behind the scenes to others' highlight reel. The truth is, we are all on our own unique journey, and your privacy is your sanctuary from feeling pressured to measure up to someone else's expectations. There's another important aspect of privacy that deserves attention: trust. When we open up to others, we are placing trust in them to respect and protect what we've shared. But in this day and age, how much can we truly trust? How many times have we seen personal information leaked or misused? It's no wonder we've become hesitant to share anything that's truly meaningful. Privacy restores that trust. When you choose what to reveal and when to reveal it, you take back the power of trust in your hands. You determine who gets access to your life and, more importantly, who doesn't. This control over your own personal narrative is one of the most liberating acts of self-respect you can give yourself. Have you noticed how much time is spent online these days, scrolling, checking notifications, or responding to messages? We live in an era where instant communication is expected, where we're always available to others. But this constant availability comes at a cost. It erodes our peace of mind, makes us feel drained, and can even lead to burnout. Guarding your privacy isn't just about protecting your personal space. It's about reclaiming your time. The more you protect your boundaries and keep certain parts of your life private, the more you can focus on what truly matters. Your health, your passions, your relationships. Your time is precious. Don't let the world steal it from you by demanding your constant presence. It's easy to become addicted to the dopamine hits we get from likes, comments, and social validation. But here's the problem. This addiction distracts us from the deeper, more meaningful connections we could be building. The more we focus on external validation, the more we neglect our inner sense of fulfillment. Privacy allows us to disconnect from this cycle. When we're not constantly checking for validation, we can turn inward and focus on our real relationships and experiences. We can cultivate a sense of peace that's independent of outside approval. This isn't to say that connection with others isn't important. It absolutely is. But true connection begins with knowing and understanding yourself. By keeping parts of your life private, you nurture that inner self, allowing your authentic connections to grow and thrive. Let's pause and reflect for a moment. What would it look like if we all started practicing more intentional privacy? Imagine a world where we prioritized our emotional well-being over the need to be constantly seen. What if we shared only what felt right rather than what was expected? What if we reclaimed our boundaries, allowing ourselves the freedom to exist without feeling the weight of everyone else's opinions? The peace that would come from this shift would be profound. We'd be free from the pressure to perform, free from the anxiety of measuring up, and free to live more authentically. Psychologically, the act of protecting our privacy is a form of self-care. We all need space to reflect, recharge, and process our emotions. In a world where everyone seems to have access to our lives at any given moment, this space becomes invaluable. Privacy provides a protective barrier that allows us to slow down, to breathe, and to reconnect with ourselves. It creates an environment where we can be vulnerable, not because we're being watched, but because we trust ourselves. This inner security enables us to face challenges, navigate uncertainties, and grow stronger with each experience. But let's be real for a moment. Living in a world that encourages sharing at every turn isn't easy. The pressure is real, and the fear of missing out can be powerful. We often feel like we're being left behind if we don't engage, if we don't share, if we don't conform to the norms set by society or social media. But this is where we have to make a conscious decision to rise above the noise. You don't have to share everything to be part of the conversation. You don't have to make your life public to feel valued. The strength lies in choosing what stays private and finding peace in that choice. It's about reclaiming your sense of self, setting boundaries that protect your peace, and taking back the power to define your life. In the end, privacy is more than just a way to protect your personal details. It's a fundamental aspect of your peace. It's about living life on your terms, not the terms dictated by the expectations of others. When you guard your privacy, you're not just protecting your personal space. You're protecting your joy, your peace, and your mental health. So the next time you feel the pressure to overshare, to be more transparent, ask yourself, is this truly in alignment with who I am? Will sharing this enhance my life, or will it diminish my peace? The answer lies in the quiet spaces you create for yourself. Keep them sacred and keep your peace. Privacy is not just a personal preference, it's a form of power. The act of guarding your life is a declaration to the world that you are not easily swayed by the demands of others. In a society that thrives on exposure, where every detail seems to be fair game for public consumption, privacy offers a rare and precious form of autonomy. It's the freedom to move through the world on your own terms, free from the constant pull of external validation. And in this freedom lies true peace. Imagine living a life where you make your choices based on what truly matters to you, not because of how others perceive you. Imagine the peace that comes with knowing that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Privacy creates that space, and it's a space worth protecting. One of the most powerful aspects of keeping your life private is the sense of emotional sovereignty it provides. In a world where everyone seems to have an opinion about your life choices, privacy allows you to stand firm in your own truth. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone, and you don't have to seek permission to live authentically. You have the right to make mistakes, to experiment, and to evolve without the pressure of being judged every step of the way. When you guard your peace by keeping your life private, you give yourself the grace to simply be. You free yourself from the relentless weight of expectations and create the mental space needed to make decisions that truly align with who you are. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant pressure to share your thoughts, your achievements, your milestones? It seems like we are expected to document every aspect of our lives, whether it's the outfit we're wearing, the food we're eating, or the trip we're taking. But here's the problem. By sharing too much, we sacrifice our personal space. The more you give, the less you have left to protect your peace. This is why privacy is not only a choice, it's a vital strategy for mental well-being. When we hold back, we preserve our energy for the things that truly matter: our relationships, our personal growth, and our inner peace. We don't need to be on for everyone all the time. Sometimes the greatest act of self-love is simply saying no to the world's demands for more. It's also worth considering the psychological impact of oversharing. Every time we expose ourselves, we risk inviting criticism, unwanted advice, or even ridicule. And let's face it, no one is immune to the sting of judgment. Whether it's from family, friends, or complete strangers, the world can be harsh in its assessment of our lives. The more we share, the more we open ourselves to potential hurt. But by keeping parts of our lives private, we create a protective bubble that shields us from the negativity that often accompanies too much exposure. This isn't about hiding who we are. It's about protecting ourselves from the toxicity of unwanted opinions. When we choose to share less, we protect our emotional health and guard our peace. Think about the last time you felt truly at peace. Was it a moment when you were surrounded by the noise of others? Or was it a time when you were alone, with nothing but your thoughts and your heart? Privacy provides the space for peace to flourish. When you remove yourself from the constant barrage of external influences, you allow yourself the room to breathe. You can take the time to reflect on your life, your goals, and your dreams without feeling pressured to fit into someone else's narrative. In this space, you can recalibrate, reconnect with your purpose, and rediscover the things that make you happy. Privacy, in this sense, becomes the foundation of your peace. It's the quiet sanctuary where you can find the clarity you need to live intentionally. Another crucial aspect of privacy is the ability to maintain control over your personal information. Every time you share a detail of your life, you give others access to your story. And while sharing can sometimes lead to connection, it can also lead to exploitation. How often do we hear of people's personal information being used against them? Privacy allows you to choose who gets to be part of your inner circle and who doesn't. It gives you the power to control your narrative, to decide when and how you reveal personal details about yourself. In doing so, you protect your peace from those who may not have your best interests at heart. In today's world, we are constantly inundated with information. From the news to social media to the constant notifications that pop up on our devices, it can feel like we never have a moment to ourselves. The act of guarding your privacy allows you to step back from this noise. It's about taking control of your mental space, choosing to disengage from the distractions that don't serve you. When you protect your peace by keeping certain aspects of your life private, you're giving yourself permission to disconnect, to pause, and to recalibrate. This doesn't mean abandoning the world, it simply means choosing when and how you engage with it. But let's not forget the simple truth. Privacy is about peace of mind. How many times have you found yourself anxious because of something you shared or posted? The vulnerability that comes with oversharing can leave us feeling exposed, uncertain, and sometimes even regretful. When you keep parts of your life private, you allow yourself to exist without that constant anxiety. You can go about your day knowing that not every moment needs to be validated by someone else. You are enough just as you are. By creating boundaries around your privacy, you build a protective layer that shields you from unnecessary stress and preserves your peace of mind. There is also something profoundly powerful in the act of withholding. When we withhold certain parts of our lives from the world, we are communicating a deep sense of self-respect. We are saying this part of me is sacred, and it is not for public consumption. In a world where people are encouraged to overshare, to be transparent to the point of vulnerability, withholding becomes a radical act of self-preservation. It's a form of empowerment, a way of reclaiming ownership over your story. By choosing what to reveal and what to keep private, you are reaffirming that you are in control of your life. This sense of control is a direct path to inner peace. It's the realization that your happiness doesn't depend on the approval or acceptance of others. As we wrap up this part, consider this. How often do you allow others to invade your personal space, your mental peace, your emotional boundaries? Every time we open ourselves up too much, we risk losing control. But by guarding our privacy, we are actively protecting our most precious resource, our peace. This act of self-preservation is not only necessary, it's vital for living a balanced and fulfilling life. So ask yourself, what is it that I need to protect? And how can I begin to guard my peace more fiercely? In the end, guarding your life and your peace is an ongoing, intentional practice. It's not just about setting boundaries with others, it's about setting boundaries with yourself. It's about being mindful of where you place your energy, whom you allow into your inner circle, and what you choose to share with the world. We often think that privacy is just about keeping secrets or hiding things, but it's much more than that. It's about choosing to protect your emotional, mental, and physical space. It's about saying, I am worthy of peace and I will fight for it. The simple act of protecting your peace can change everything about how you experience the world, and the more you make this a practice, the more your life will transform. Consider the countless ways the world attempts to demand your attention. From emails, phone calls, and social media notifications to the constant barrage of news, ads, and public expectations, it's no wonder we often feel drained. We are constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions, and if we're not careful, we can lose ourselves in this chaos. Guarding your privacy is a way of reclaiming your sovereignty in a world that tries to impose its will on you. Every time you decide to protect a part of your life, you're saying no to the world's demands and yes to your own peace. You're putting yourself in control, and that is power in its purest form. One of the most important aspects of guarding your peace is recognizing that not everyone deserves access to your life. Just because someone is curious about your personal business doesn't mean you owe them an explanation or an answer. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play. Being able to say no when someone tries to cross a boundary, whether that's asking too many personal questions, seeking too much of your time, or trying to pressure you into sharing things you're not comfortable with, is an essential skill. The ability to protect your privacy is directly tied to your ability to maintain healthy boundaries, and these boundaries are essential for preserving your mental and emotional well-being. The more you practice setting these limits, the stronger and more peaceful your life becomes. Moreover, privacy allows us to find deeper fulfillment in our lives. The more we share, the more we risk diluting our sense of self. We live in a time where everything is shared in real time, from our feelings to our meals. But think about how much of your personal joy can get lost in the public eye. There's something precious about keeping certain moments of happiness for yourself, about enjoying the quiet beauty of a memory that's shared only with your closest loved ones or even just yourself. When you guard your peace by keeping certain things private, you create a space where joy is pure, untainted by the judgments or expectations of others. These moments are yours to cherish without feeling the need to validate them through likes or comments. When we talk about guarding our peace, it also involves creating the mental space necessary to process life's challenges. Every time we share our difficulties with the world, we open ourselves to the risk of judgment or unsolicited advice. Not every problem needs to be aired for the world to comment on. Privacy allows us to sit with our struggles, to work through them in our own time, and to heal without external pressures. When we are open and vulnerable in the wrong spaces, it can further complicate our emotional landscape. Privacy, on the other hand, helps us heal in private. It gives us the space to process and reflect, ensuring that when we're ready to share, it's on our terms and when it will truly help us. Furthermore, privacy is vital for nurturing personal relationships. When we share too much of our personal lives with others, especially with acquaintances or people who haven't earned our trust, we risk undermining the depth of our relationships. True connection comes when we allow others to see only what we choose to share, when we keep certain aspects of ourselves sacred. By practicing privacy, we deepen the relationships that matter most. We allow people to enter our lives at the pace that feels comfortable, and we don't rush to reveal everything all at once. This fosters trust and respect, creating bonds that are strong and built on genuine understanding, not superficial knowledge. In many ways, protecting your peace is about creating distance between yourself and the chaos that often surrounds us. Life can feel overwhelming when we're constantly involved in the noise of the world, but by choosing to keep your life private, you choose to carve out moments of solitude and quiet. You allow yourself to exist in a space free from external pressures, where you can be present with yourself and focus on what truly matters. When you guard your peace, you're not isolating yourself. You're allowing yourself to breathe, to reflect, and to live in a way that feels right to you. It's in this space that you find the clarity and strength to navigate the world on your own terms. What would it look like to live without the constant pressure of needing to share everything? What would it feel like to let go of the need for approval, validation, and the desire to be seen by others? The answer is freedom. Freedom from the chains of expectation, freedom from the anxiety of judgment, and freedom to live authentically. By choosing privacy, we reclaim the freedom to be ourselves without apology. We no longer need to conform to societal standards or measure our worth based on how much we share. We can simply exist in our own truth, and that truth alone is enough. Guarding your peace also means not allowing external circumstances or other people's actions to dictate how you feel. There will always be people who try to provoke you, who will try to make you feel inadequate or judge your decisions. But when you protect your privacy and keep certain aspects of your life to yourself, you stop giving these people power over your emotions. You maintain your peace regardless of what's happening around you. This is the true meaning of inner peace, the ability to remain calm and centered no matter what chaos unfolds outside. As we conclude this journey on guarding your life and peace, it's important to remember that this practice is not about hiding who you are or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about choosing to protect the most sacred parts of yourself. The parts that keep you grounded, the parts that are necessary for your emotional and mental well-being. It's about knowing that your peace is priceless and therefore worth guarding fiercely. The more you protect your life and your peace, the more you'll experience the freedom to live authentically, to thrive in your own space, and to face the world with strength and resilience. So the next time you feel the pressure to share or to conform, ask yourself, is this in alignment with my peace? If the answer is no, then it's time to guard your peace fiercely, to protect the life you've worked so hard to build, and to reclaim the freedom that comes with true privacy. Your life is yours to live, and your peace is yours to protect. Don't let anyone or anything take that from you.